Kettleman's Bagels is proud to support Grill This, Smoke That. Kettleman's, makers of wood-fired Montreal-style bagels using only premium ingredients. With 3 Ottawa locations, Kettleman's menu is available 24/7, 365 days a year. Grill This, Smoke That is generously supported by Oven Brothers, makers of handcrafted Canadian-made wood-burning outdoor ovens for inspired chefs. Visit us at ovenbrothers.ca. Oven Brothers, from our family's backyard to yours.
Grill This, Smoke That is brought to you by Furtado Farms. For all your outdoor cooking needs, they're your premium source for cookwood. Whether it's pellets, chips, chunks, or logs, they've got you covered. Visit furtadofarms.ca for more info.
Hi, I'm Steph Legari, also known as Steph the Grilling Gourmet. On today's episode of Grill This, Smoke That, we're going to be featuring the dishes of British Columbia with my good friend and chef Harriet Clunie. So, according to the license plate, it's beautiful British Columbia Day on Grill This, Smoke That. Well, today we get to experience beautiful British Columbia with my great friend and fellow chef, Harriet Clunie.
Hi.
Welcome to the show, Harriet.
Thanks so much for having me.
So we're doing BC today.
We are.
Why BC?
Because it's so full of everything that you can't get anywhere else in Canada.
Okay. Prawns.
Spot prawns.
Spot prawns. They're seasonal.
They're very seasonal, hyper seasonal, if you will.
Yeah. So the hyper seasonality of this wonderful little spot prawn has made us actually, unfortunately, we couldn't get them.
That's all right.
That is all right. So we're going to use some tiger prawns instead. I think the only difference between the tiger prawn and the spot prawn is maybe the sweetness, a little sweetness.
Yeah, and probably tenderness as well. Spot prawns tend to be very, very delicate, a bit more delicate than shrimp.
Right.
Tend to be.
Yeah, those cool coastal waters do an awful lot.
Absolutely.
Cool. So what are we doing with the spot prawn, or what are we doing with the prawns today?
Today we're going to grill them. We're going to take the shell off, devein them, and we're just going to throw them on the grill.
Deveining them. Why?
It's to put it,
Yeah.
nicely. It's
Yeah.
it's the poop chute.
Yeah, we
So
don't-
we don't want to eat that.
We don't want to eat that.
We don't want to eat that.
We don't want to eat. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is when you order shrimp and it's not cleaned. And,
Agreed.
And as you're looking at the shrimp, there's a beautiful shell. And right down the middle, if you grab a knife and you cut down the back of the shrimp and you open it up, you're going to find, actually these have already been cleaned for us, which is very lovely.
That is
Saves
very
us-
nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Very considerate back of the house crew. And there's usually a darkened strip all along the back of the shrimp here. And you'll just take your paring knife or run it under cold water and you're going to remove that. But there's another pretty cool way that you can do it as well without cutting the back of the shell. And you just basically put a toothpick right at the base of the tail and you push it under the back vein and you pull it out. So if you want a whole shell presentation, you can. I personally love shrimp or prawns cooked with the shell on, but for some presentations, it's better to have them off.
It's true, and also sometimes, I like to eat with my hands.
Yep.
But I've found that not everybody does. So when the spot prawn is on with the shell on, and you eat it with your fingers, and it's greasy and delicious. But not everybody likes the hands-on approach.
For sure.
Sometimes taking the shell off is nice, but you can keep the shells because there's so much flavor packed in there that you can use it for stock. I always have a little Ziploc bag or deli container of shrimp shells in my freezer.
In the freezer.
And then if I just collect them over however long till it's full, and then I'll make a little stock out of that and make a soup, or use it if I'm doing them in a pan, use that stock for that, and it's just so much flavor.
Why throw out all that flavor?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Never throw out flavor.
So we're going to season these up. And what are we going to do to season? Because I know it's going to be hitting the grill and we're going to be putting more stuff on them later.
Yeah, so we're just going to go simple, simple, simple. That's with seafood, it's generally the best way, just because the flavor is so delicate that you don't want to overpower it, because then you won't taste the actual prawn or shrimp or fish or whatever you're doing. So we're just going to do a little bit of olive oil just to make sure that it doesn't stick to the grill.
Okay.
And some salt, and pepper is optional. I love pepper,
Yep.
so I'm happy to put pepper on it. And if you don't want the dark specks on it, you can put white pepper, or you can just omit it entirely. It's just a preference thing.
Fabulous. So basically, it's just down to the visual application and and how you want it to taste.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, let's fire these up. I'm looking forward to seeing how you do this.
Me too.
All right.
All right.
So we've got the shrimp, and essentially, if you're looking at taking the shell off, you've taken the track out the back, and you just grab it from one side and you peel it all the way around. Okay, you want to leave the back part of the tail on because it's really pretty. It actually colors out, and you can do pretty things like fan it out and put a toothpick in here and make it look pretty. But that's essentially the deal. It's very simple. You just take the shell, you open it up, and you just peel it. And it should come off all in one shot, and then you work on your secondary part, and if there's a couple of little legs underneath, you take those off, and you're essentially left with a beautifully clean prawn. So we're going to take those and season them up.
Yes.
And the seasoning is just simply salt and pepper, and I do believe you said a little olive oil.
That's it.
Now,
That's
if
really
if you wanted to do something else aside from olive oil, what could you use?
You could use canola oil. You could even use a little bit of butter. Really, it's just enough of some kind of oil or fat. You could use coconut oil. I mean, it's really up to
Right.
your own preference. It
Right.
just to keep it just from sticking to the grill. I mean, they will come off, but then some of that beautiful meat, and they're so small, you want to keep it intact, and
Absolutely.
you might get some nice grill marks on it. But if they're not seasoned and with the oil on it, then it will often kind of stick to the grill and give you a hard time.
And we don't want that.
We don't want that.
We want to keep this as simple as possible. So a little bit of olive oil drizzled on. Oh yeah, nice color.
And just
Little salt,
a little salt, little pepper,
little pepper.
and then we're just gonna.
Rock and roll.
That's it.
That's it.
Super easy.
Beautifully seasoned, speckled prawns, and I think it's possibly time to go to the grill.
Excellent. I
Cool.
can't wait.
Me too. All right, so we've got our lovely shrimp, and they're already seasoned up with a little bit of olive oil and the salt and pepper like Harriet did. And we're gonna put these on soapstone, and they've already got a lovely layer of olive oil. Now, it should be really clearly stated that if you are cooking a spot prawn, you want to cook those prawns until they're just pink, like a medium rare steak. You don't want to go any further than that because it's just going to toughen up the shrimp and it won't be very palatable. As opposed to big prawns, you want to cook those all the way through. They'll still be tender, but you want that prawn really cooked all the way through. Big difference, big difference. So how long do they take? Well, they're starting to curl up now, and I always like to say it's like a lobster. If you cook it and the tail touches the body, it's overcooked. If there's a tiny gap between, that's perfect. So when you're cooking them, you just basically give them a nice little half turn. As you can see, the color has changed. We've gone to a really nice golden color, and the heat is quite high underneath. I'm working with soapstone and charcoal, but if you wanted to use a regular grill, you can. Just make sure that your grill grate is not so wide that the shrimp actually falls through. But I really like using soapstone or cast iron. I think that it generates an awful lot of beautiful even heat that actually does so well with seafood and so many other things. So I'm looking at the shrimp right now. They're actually puffing up. They're becoming really big. They're widening out and they're filling out. And also the color of the shrimp is changing. They're going from that translucent state to a more whitish state. And that's what you're looking for as well. There's a lot of different elements that you're looking for when cooking shrimp. But as you can see, the tail is almost touching. And I would say that these are just about ready to come off. It doesn't take very long. And that's it. We're going to put these in a pan, and then we're going to return to the table, and we're going to dress them up really well.